Welcome to PALIMPSEST Project Podcast. My name is Fran Pazos from Nomad Garden. PALIMPSEST is a European cooperation project that aims to reshape a spoiled landscape through art and research. The project revolves around 3 pilot landscapes with strong cultural identities and relevant environmental problems: Milano, Uch and Jerez de la Frontera. Today we are broadcasting from Jerez de la Frontera, in Spain, an Andalusian wine landscape and vernacular site challenged by climate change and renewable energy transition. Estelle Jullian's project has been selected by our community in order to bring a creative, innovative and sustainable approach to this territory. We are honored to have Estelle Jullian here with us today. Welcome. And first of all, I think it is important to introduce yourself and your work. Who is Estelle Jullian?
Hello, Fran. Well, I'm a French architect based in Valencia, and currently I'm also working in a social cultural management company called Culturama. My practice addresses different fields such as architecture, art, ecology, and participation, and my work focuses on processes of development of inclusive tools where space is understood from a social, cultural, and environmental perspective. This concern for critical spatial practices is embodied in cultural and community projects, exhibition, educational projects, workshops, and site-specific spatial interventions. They question the territory and revealing links between apparently disconnected elements.
You have named your project The Songs of Nearby Earth. Can you describe the project in a few sentences?
The Song of Nearby Earth is a project that aims to approach the territory and landscape of Jerez de la Frontera through artistic and design practices, integrating popular knowledge, landscape practices, local cultural expression, and emblematic elements such as ceramics, viticulture, and music. Inspired by Zambombas celebration, the project seeks to open spaces for reflection and landscape transformation. It promotes creative actions that use local material, clay, vines, glaze from pruning wastes, and so on, refer to localized practices, adopt a context-sensitive approach, and work hand in hand with the communities and their cultural expression, exploring new trends in their relation with the landscape and the ongoing energy transition.
To expand a little bit more about the project, what concrete actions does the proposal consist of?
So the idea, it is that rethinking the Zambomba as an object or as a ritual, we are going to activate different kind of action in the territory with different kind of community. For instance, to redesign the device, a musical device, we are going to work with the School of Art and Design of Jerez, activating a new educational program, mixing the process of the project with the educational innovative program in the school, for instance. And then in that way, we are going to investigate the shape, but also different kind of glazes with ashes from the wood of the pruning of the vineyard, and etc. The second aspect we are working on is the Zambomba ritual, which is in a hand the repertoire, the book song, and then we are trying to investigate the best way to work on this book song. In a way, we are maybe to create a new song. Maybe we are going to hack existing song as did in different occasions in the ritual. And also we are trying to investigate all the songs related to the territory and landscape of Jerez, in the story of the song and so on. And the other aspect, and that we are going to use the objects, the manufacture, the new design, to renature streets, public spaces, and neighborhood in Jerez.
We've been talking about several things: participation, people, cultural expressions, but why is your proposal working around ceramics, and what is the relation that you are foreseeing within the landscape of Jerez?
Well, more than ceramics, I would say that is because it is part of an object, the Zambomba. It is an object made with local material, clay, albariza, chickpeas, cotton, reeds, material linked to a craft know-how. These materials are also linked to practices, rituals, and cultural expressions that help us to understand the territory of Jerez. All of these aspects are what help us to conceive or imagine the territory of Jerez as a bioregion. That is to say, not only as a topographic, a geology, an hydrography, but also as a map of relationship between people, the immaterial, plants, the living that inhabit it, a way of life.
Apart from materials, co-creation, people, cultural expressions, your project is truly participatory, and it seems that it's including a lot of many different audiences, possible stakeholders, ways of participation. Why this emphasis on participation in this project?
As we just say, a landscape cannot be understood without the people who inhabit it. In this sense, people is not only a generator of knowledge, but is also the driving forces of its own transformation, both as a being and as a collective. But above all, this project is inspired by existing manifestations that are deeply imbricated in the social law of Jerez and which could not be understood or worked on without their participation.
PALIMPSEST is actually a research project, an European Horizon project, that it tries to hybridize the artistic and the scientific cooperation. Good part of the activities and actions are far from your usual way of working. How do you feel about this duality?
Really, I don't feel that this is far from the way I work. In fact, this hybridization exists in many of the projects I have developed over the last few years, whether it in ground, the reuse of rice straw, salt, and etc. In a way, I think that what used to be known as polymathy today is called interdisciplinarity, transdisciplinarity, but they are still a way of tackling projects that has always been done using a multiplicity of knowledge and fields, but not going so far. For example, a vine grower knows about hydrography, geology, botany, or a ceramist has knowledge of chemistry, geology, etc. Perhaps the difference in that segmentation has led each of these fields to use a language and dynamics that do not always allow for easy interlocution and interaction.
PALIMPSEST also articulates the three pilot projects through 2 cycles of co-creation, prototyping and testing. How does this fit into your proposal?
Well, conceptually, the project is also based on the idea of the life cycle of the object, the Zambomba. Initially, the object served as a container for liquid and food. Then it was used as a musical instrument. In this project, explore new use related to our new way of life. This idea of the object cycle is intrinsically linked to the methodology and the application of the cultural device we are hacking, and also adapts to the season and natural cycles that are linked to the landscape, agriculture, social life, etc., etc.
How does the project address the environmental challenges of the pilot landscape of La Campiña de Jerez posed by the PALIMPSEST project?
This subject, the Zambomba, and the ritual of the same name allows us to investigate material practices and human resources to identify possibility to use vernacular knowledge as a source of ecological solutions. From this analysis, the creation of new relationships allows us to generate a project that weave together the complexity of the different challenges of this environmental crisis: social, ethical, energetic, sensitive, etc. So in the case of the conflict around the changes in the landscape of the vineyards and the eruption of the new energies, the project does not aim to find an absolute truth or reach consensus, but at least to lay the foundation for the different voices and opinions to find a common space.